Tailgate. I am Michelle Margaux, and that is Ralph Vacchiano. And what an exciting start to the season for New York football. Ralph, I am, of course, referring to the 3-0 Buffalo Bills.
I know people are killing New York football, but the only team in New York is actually undefeated. This is exciting.
Well, let's get to the local teams with some bleak takeaways. Same storylines after week one with Adam Gase and Sam Darnold. We'll start with Sam Darnold. Do scouts believe that he's trending in the right direction?
No, honestly, scouts don't believe that, but they're starting to see some bad habits from him. A lot of technical stuff, throwing off a back foot, not setting in the pocket. It's things that aren't necessarily alarming now, but certainly could be if he doesn't fix them soon.
Well, what about for the head coach, Adam Gase? How hot is the seat for him?
Burning. They have been blown out 3 straight times to start the year, and he's got to turn that around at some point. If he's really going to be considered that brilliant offensive mind that Christopher Johnson said he was, he's got to show it.
Well, moving on to the Giants, are you more concerned about how they're losing these games or just the number of losses in general?
Well, I'm very concerned about how they lost on Sunday to the 49ers. To me, those first 2 games showed progress. They showed fight. They showed like they were a better team than they were a year ago and were kind of inching towards a win. And then on Sunday, it was all backwards.
How similar are the struggles that Daniel Jones is having compared to the struggles that Eli Manning had earlier in his career?
Young quarterbacks need time. And all you have to do is look at Eli Manning. In his 4th year, in late November of his 4th year, he throws 4 interceptions against the Minnesota Vikings, and fans are literally burning his jersey in the parking lot. Lo and behold, a couple of months later, he wins a Super Bowl. So Daniel Jones is not experiencing anything that almost every young quarterback does. It doesn't mean he's not going to be a great one. It means that we don't know right now, and it also means we have to get
in a couple of years, you're going to have Daniel Jones hanging behind you, winning a Super Bowl the same way.
Either that or I'll be burning his jersey, one or the other.
Let's get a little fashion sense. And Ralph, I'm sure that you've seen by now, Bill Belichick's torn sweater.
Yeah, that has certainly caused an uproar, but I've got to tell you, Bill Belichick dresses like that all the time. I mean, the hoodie was not exactly an Armani suit or something like that. So I don't know why people are so surprised that he looks like he's in a hostage video here.
Well, the sad thing is that places like Urban Outfitters sell comparable pieces for about $95 and Gen Z's all over it. So apparently that's what's in now. This is what he thinks passes for a mask in 2020, but it's not as pathetic looking as John Gruden's mask. Do you see that?
I did. What I love about Bill Belichick's mask is it looks like the NFL sent him a memo saying, make sure it covers your nose. So he did, and just left his mouth exposed because that's Bill Belichick, giving his opinion of NFL rules. And John Gruden's, I don't know what he's going for there. It's almost like one of those Halloween chicken masks or something.
John Gruden is the kid in practice where he's supposed to be running like everybody else, but he's walking, but he's moving his arms really fast. So he's getting passed off as running, but he's not, and everyone sees it. Well, finally, Ryan Fitzpatrick continues to raise eyebrows both on and off the field with this massive amount of chest hair coming out of his pineapple shirt.
There's so much to focus on here. I don't even know where to begin, but I got to tell you, if I went to Harvard, that's how I would dress. With all those guys in suits walking around and nice dresses and everything else, that's how I would want to look.
I'm just trying to process where his beard stops and where the chest hair starts. So if we could just zoom in, maybe make an outline, because it's all blending together at this point.
And I don't know that we want to even really know. It just adds to the image that it's like all one thing.
It's disturbing. Let's dive into the friend zone and welcome in Kyle Brandt, co-host of Good Morning Football, which airs every single day at 7 a.m. on NFL Network. Thank you so much for joining us.
I've been friend zoned so many times in my life. I feel right at home on this program.
Yeah, join the club, man.
Well, you picked the Giants as an NFC wildcard pick. Do you still think that, or do you regret that pick?
I was not aware I was appearing on a program that does research. You guys aren't supposed to know that. That was like 3 weeks ago. What's going on here? No, I don't regret making the pick. I like that I made the pick. You got to take some shots on some of those projections, I also took a shot on the Bears, and the Bears are 3-0.
How much faith do you have in Daniel Jones?
I think a medium amount. I think it's like everything about Daniel Jones. That answer was average. Daniel Jones has been average. And look what Mahomes did in a second-year starter. And look what Lamar did his second year as a starter. Maybe it's unfair, but I don't care. Like, this is the league now. You have to get to a Super Bowl before you get that first big contract extension as a quarterback. And he's looked okay. I think it's like he's tapioca pudding right now. It's like right in the middle. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not great, but you'll take it.
Well, I mean, if you're a little worried about Daniel Jones, I would imagine you're probably even more worried about Sam Darnold, who is in year 3 and struggling. When you look at him, do you think he is the future of the Jets, or is their future quarterback not on their roster right now?
A couple times this season, he takes your breath away, though, doesn't he? He makes some great plays, and you're like, that's the guy. That's the guy. That's the future of the Jets. It's just like he's playing in nuclear winter there. From the first 5 seconds of the game, it feels like, well, they're going to lose this game. I like him as a person and a player, but like, I don't know. It could be 1987 Joe Montana right now, and I don't know if they're winning.
You've touched on Adam Gase's body language in the past. What does his body language this season say about how the season's going?
When Gase is feeling it, when he's got a little swagger, when he steps up to the podium, it's like this. It's like a poker tell that the shoulder is all the way up, and that's when he's like, yeah, I'm Adam Gase. I'm the supposed genius, and we're winning. This year, flat. Flat.
Maybe he just got readjusted.
Maybe he went to a chiropractor. Maybe the whole team should take a field trip to the chiropractor. I don't know what it is, but when I don't see that Gase shoulder up, big problems, and I have not seen. I'm glad you asked.
All right, so obviously, Giants and Jets fan bases right now are in a very, very bad place. It's been dark around here for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So factor that in, but how would you describe your experiences with Giants and Jets fan bases? What do you think of them?
The Giants fans are really, really stuck in the past. Like they're like, we'll tell you all kinds of stories, depending on how old they are, about Justin Tuck, and if they're a little older, it'll be about Lawrence Taylor. And just, I have to tell you, my great Brandon Jacobs story of when I ran. I'm like, Brandon Jacobs has been retired for years now. Whereas the Jets fans, they're like likes to fight guy. Like if they don't want to hear about how bad their team is, they don't have a sense of humor about it, just permanent self-loathing. And it's almost like we can make fun of our Jets, but the second you say something about Gase or Donald, I'll knock your teeth out. That's our job, pretty boy. That's what I hear from them.
All right. Well, thank you so much for answering all of our questions, and thank you for joining the Tailgate.
This is my kind of show. Anytime, you guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Well, let's call an audible. Ralph, I'm sure you remember the infamous Miami boat picture where a bunch of Giants receivers took their shirts off and not their Timberlands. Not sure why they would do that anyway, but they were hanging out with Trey Songz. Well, the team has gone 12-40 since then. And can you believe that one picture had such an impact on the organization for years to come?
No, I'm stunned. I thought when it happened it would disappear, but the problem is the Giants really never recovered. Now, they were bad before that. That 1 year of going 11-5 looks like the anomaly, but for a lot of people, it's right in the middle of a bad era of football, and it symbolizes the fact that football for the Giants never seemed like the priority. There were off-field things and guys becoming celebrities and just stuff where the games didn't matter as much as it did to maybe the Super Bowl teams of the 2000s or the 1980s.
Well, it's also proof that they have poor decision-making skills, not just because they went and did it, but because they were wearing Timberlands on a boat.
Yeah, I think I've already given enough fashion advice for this show, but I don't even know that I would try to pull that off.
Well, there haven't been a ton of bright spots for the Jets overall this season, but certain members of the defense have stepped up, but don't take my word for it. Take it from a pro.
They say you got to walk the walk if you want to talk the talk. Marcus Maye was in the same draft class as Jamal Adams, who was traded to the Seattle Seahawks right before the season. Now, I'll admit, I was skeptical about that trade. I didn't know if Marcus Maye can be that playmaker position that Jamal Adams fulfilled for Greg Williams' defense, but he's done just that. In that first game, you saw 10 tackles, he forced a fumble, and he had 2 sacks. Quinnen Williams, he's been balling, straight balling. The young Kai out of Alabama has been all over the field, making plays here, making plays there, making plays down the line. Why was he able to do that? He's in much better shape, as you can see. He don't got that big belly no more. He's running down the field and making a lot of plays. Once he finds out a way to defeat the man in front of him, it'll be a positive for the Jets. Even though we don't have any positives right now, we're looking up. Thursday night football can be another time to get going.
I'm in the pocket. I'm in the pocket.
Time now for In the Pocket, where we want to put money in your pocket. And Rake It and Ralph, you're 4-0. You starting to buy what you're selling yet?
Absolutely not.
Well, the Jets are 2.5-point underdogs against the winless Broncos on Thursday. What are your thoughts?
Well, this game stinks is my thought, and I'm really sad that I have to watch it. But you've got Sam Darnold versus a backup quarterback. And Sam did some good things in that last game. So if you can avoid the big mistakes, I'm thinking they might actually I think the word is win.
Things are getting even more challenging for the Giants as they go to LA and face the Rams. They're 13-point underdogs in this one.
This is a bad matchup because the Rams with, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are going to overwhelm a bad Giants secondary. The Giants' weakness on the offensive line, right up the middle, right where Aaron Donald is. I think they could look better and still lose by 3 touchdowns. I really do think they're going to get blown out.
Well, since you are on such a roll, what is the one game you're picking for Ralph's Lock of the Week?
Ralph's Lock of the Week!
This is a New York football show, so I'm going to stick in New York and make my Lock of the Week the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. They're one of the best teams in football right now. They're going to keep that going. That's my Lock of the Week.
Well, we end the show where we started the show, and that is with the undefeated Buffalo Bills. That'll do it for this week's episode of The Tailgate. I'm Michelle Margaux. That is Ralph Vacchiano, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.